Good day. South Africa appreciates the global celebration of the 10th anniversary of the Nagoya Protocol, especially noting the emergence of this protocol was conceived in our country during the World Summit on Sustainable Development in 2002. This was after the recognition of the limitations of the Bonn guidelines on access to genetic resources and fair and equitable sharing of benefits, which were voluntary and at that stage not legally binding. South Africa, as one of the most mega diverse countries in the world, played a leading role in the negotiations that resulted in this important protocol. Our country is home to approximately 24,000 plant species and boasts an entire endemic Cape floral kingdom. These biological and cultural resources underpin a significant proportion of the biodiversity economy and the many rural and urban people directly dependent on them for employment, food, shelter, medicine, and spiritual well-being. Furthermore, our biological diversity forms the basis for bioprospecting and biotrade, thus contributing to the economic growth, commercial research, and development that underpins the well-being of our entire society. 2 years after the World Summit on Sustainable Development, South Africa regulated these commercial activities through the National Environmental Management Biodiversity Act of 2004, commonly known as NEMBA, and the regulations for bioprospecting, access, and benefit sharing. These regulations were introduced in 2008. These legislative tools are now being reviewed to further align to the requirements of a dynamic and changing environment. This national effort demonstrated South Africa's commitment to the domestication of globally legally binding instruments, primarily to ensure that indigenous and local peoples benefit from the commercial use of their traditional knowledge. The NEMBA Act and its associated regulations are supported by the Nagoya Protocol on access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefit arising from their utilization under the Convention on Biological Diversity, to which South Africa became a party in 2013. A further step to the domestication of the Nagoya Protocol includes the promulgation on the Protection, Promotion, Development, and Management of Indigenous Knowledge Act that was passed as recently as 2019. This act provides for the management of Indigenous knowledge rights of communities and ensures fair and equitable sharing of benefits. These laws have increased awareness of bioprospecting, access, and benefit sharing activities in South Africa, and have provided opportunities for indigenous and local communities to benefit from their role as custodians of traditional knowledge on the useful properties of indigenous biological resources targeted for bioprospecting and biotrade. Just last year, negotiations facilitated by my department were concluded on an industry-wide benefit sharing agreement, which recognized the indigenous knowledge of the Khoi and San people governing the use of rooibos, which has a variety of beverage and healthcare uses. The benefit sharing agreement brings the rooibos industry in line with South Africa's bioprospecting protocols and regulations, and sees that a percentage of the gate price of every ton of rooibos cultivated will go towards community trusts serving indigenous communities. South Africa has a dedicated permitting mechanism that regulates access to genetic resources associated with traditional knowledge. Such a mechanism guides negotiations on material transfer and benefit sharing agreements that are crucial in ensuring fair and equitable sharing of benefits. At the subnational level, systems are in place for ensuring sustainable harvesting and collection of indigenous biological resources, being supported by biodiversity management plans for priority species to ensure the long-term survival of the species in the wild, while at the same time enhancing compliance, monitoring, and law enforcement. South Africa considers the Nagoya Protocol as an important global instrument in the protection of indigenous knowledge holders of genetic resources. Although the benefits of the Nagoya Protocol have not yet been experienced by many communities, this is one protocol that facilitates redress of past imbalances through tangible, fair, and equitable sharing of benefits arising from the utilization of genetic resources and their associated knowledge. This protocol can be counted amongst those global instruments that contribute to the much needed global solutions for human well-being, biodiversity, health, and of course, food security. I thank you.